Welcome back to more Sip the Tally. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and today we're going to talk about Amon Ra St Brown. And as most of us know, unless you've been hiding under a rock, Amon Ra got a massive, and I mean massive, extension with the Detroit Lions. Huge contract, and it got me to thinking, what did he do to deserve this contract? And with me saying that, that's not saying he's undeserving. That's just got me to wondering, hey, I want to look at his play and see, what did he do to say, hey, Detroit, we're going to give him this boatload of money. So I'm not saying he's not deserving, so don't take it as that way. And really, when you get contracts like that, it's not because you had 1 year of production, you had sustained production. And let's take a look at his stats for this past year and see what they are. He had 158 targets, 119 catches, 1,515 yards, 12 yards per catch, 10 touchdowns, and that's pretty darn good. He was one of the best receivers in the NFL this year, and that goes without saying. If you try to argue the fact that he wasn't, you're really just fooling yourself. So just look at sustained production. Last year, he went up in targets, 139 to 158. He went up in catches, 106 to 119. He went up in yards, 1,161 to 1,515. He went up in yards per catch from 11 to 12.7. He went up in touchdowns from 6 to 10. But this is a number that's really standing out on top of these yards. First downs. His catches that went for first downs from 68 to 75. Now, the big number right here that stands out in this T chart, his yards. So he basically went up right around 400 yards. And I wanted to know, what did he do differently to go up 400 yards? And I got most of these stats from PFF. So there was two things that I figured out is the reason that he went up in those yards. And this is what we're going to do on the film version of this video. He was used outside more as far as you being an outside receiver because, with his frame and whatnot, he's kind of put into that box as a slot receiver. But Detroit used him outside more. So that's his coach, who's a genius, using him in different spots, moving him around, putting him in motion, doing different things with him, and using him outside some to get him on different mismatches. The second thing is a stat on PFF called MTF. And his numbers on that are way better this year than they was last year. And that's where those 400 extra yards came in at. And the stat means missed tackles forced after a reception. And that's what I'm going to attempt to show you in the video part of this film. And welcome back to More Sip the Tally. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back. Let's get into the film version of the film on Amon Ra St Brown. And again, two things we're going to look for. The fact that they used him outside more, and the fact that he can make people miss and get extra yards after he make people miss. So we got 4 plays that I'm going to use to highlight that. And as you can see on this first play right here, they have him lined up outside. And this is a simple little wide receiver screen. And he's going to really turn into a running back once he gets the ball. So we got this real simple. He's an outside receiver. They throw a little screen. You got, tight end and another big fella out there to block in front, to get in front of him. But again, I love the fact that he sets this up, perfectly. He allows his guys to get out in front of him, and now he's just going to turn into a running back and hit this thing that's almost like a regular running play, but just on the edge, on the perimeter. Stick his foot in the ground and get up the field. And I love the fact that he's going to finish the run. He gets contact right there at about the 8-yard line by a linebacker now. 58's a linebacker. Look at him lower his head and finish this run at about the 5. Just a pit bull with the ball in his hand. Carried that dude another 3 or 4 yards. And that's what I love about him. Like, he's a tough SOB. Really tough. And I love about that. And another thing that has nothing to do with the purpose of this film, the Lions receivers block their butt off. Him included. They get after it in the run game. So for Montgomery and Gibbs, when they have long runs, you see Lions receivers down there blocking their butt off. And I love that for them. Let's go to the next play. You see him outside again. And what I like about him using him outside is he can run more routes outside. When you have a guy in a slot, and let's kind of, add a little context to it. So let's just say this was Gibbs right here. If you have him in a slot, you really got this out, this in, this corner, or this post, or some version of that. That's pretty much what you got in the slot. When you outside, you got all that plus some. You got all that plus some. So you get the whole route tree outside. And you can do a little bit more in the slide. I just kind of tried to make it, real quick for you. But when you go outside, you get a whole lot more. And look, there's nobody out there. This is you with all the space. So instead of just pigeonholing him to being a slot receiver, you let him be slot and outside, and you give him more reps outside versus corners. You let him be able to do stuff like this, especially when you get one-on-one matchups. And that's what he got. Got an inside release, and at this point, the way he got on top of this receiver, he can do whatever he want with it. He can take him in. He can take him deep. He can take him with a deep corner. He can curl him back up. But all he's going to do is he's going to run out on him. He's going to run out on him. And I love the fact that he did that. This is a great job of stacking him. It's even better throw by Goff. But look at that. Look at that. Throw it low and away. Had trust in St. Brown to get up under it. Got really up under it. Got both feet down. And came down with it. For a first down. For a first down. Flowers really didn't stand a chance on that. Great route, great throw, great catch. Now you got him in the slot. And we're going to look at some of the stuff where he making people miss. Tough catches. Now right here, he's boxed in. You got 3 defenders. You got 3 Chargers defenders closing in on him. You got this guy, you got this guy, and you got this guy. And he knows they're coming. But the fact that he going to make them miss and kind of fall for a couple yards, like he's fearless across the middle. Now, he made the safety miss. I think that's Aloha Goldman. I think that's the name of the safety for the Chargers. And then fall forward for another 5 yards. That's part of the stat I talked about. That's making a guy miss. But this one right here is really making people miss and getting a whole bunch of extra yards. So now he's outside and he's going to make somebody miss. The first problem, they've got a safety on him. They're doing a cat blitz and they've been putting Goldman on him one-on-one. So he's going to run a little post route and run away from him. Now he makes the catch. And this right here is Derwin James. He's going to have a horrible angle. That's Derwin James right there. He's going to have a horrible angle. Amon Ra going to make him miss. Made him miss. Watch him just stick his arm out there. No chance. And on that missed tackle, he got a whole 15 extra yards. And so you get stuff like that over and over again. That's where those 400 extra yards come into play at. 15 here, 20 there, 8 there, 10 there. And you go from 1,100 yards to 1,500 yards. Who's to say if he don't get better at that again next year with those similar targets and catches, and that thing don't jump up to 1,800 yards? Who's to say? But I just want to show you the different instances where little nuances in a person's game or a player's game can translate into bigger numbers and better numbers and even more wins. The Lions were this close from heading to the Super Bowl this year. Who's to say they won't take that next step next year? Who's to say? But this is Coach Evans with another episode of More Sip to Tally. And again, I said I was gonna take my time and find these different little stories throughout the 2023 season. Now that the draft season has slowed down, and I hope you guys enjoy these. And I'm gonna be doing it from different teams, finding different little nuances in different people's game. And I appreciate if you hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. And then hit that bell so you can be notified when the rest of them drop. So Detroit Lions fans, I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace and love.